Hello, so today we're going to talk about something that I've always wanted to talk about, and that is my comic book collection. I think if I had to choose something to run away with, if in the case of fire, I would run away with my very heavy comic book collection. So in this video, I'm going to show what I have collected when it comes to comic books and graphic novels. I will also talk about where I usually get mine. And in the end, I will be given recommendations on which graphic novels / comic books you can pick up if you have no idea where to start or you have never read any graphic novels or comic book in your life. Because we have to start somewhere. So I think we should start out with my least valuable and go on from there until we reach my absolute most precious item that I own. So yeah, let's get started because I'm excited. So for those of you who don't know, there are a lot of categories when it comes to graphic novels or comic book collections regarding the way they're formatted. So traditionally, you would have things like trade paperbacks, oversized hardcovers, omnibuses, absolutes, and like the paper issue that I forgot its name. I'll have it up there somewhere. But it's only the issue. The trade paperback has a lot of issues. It could be a volume or something. And then the absolute, the oversized hardcovers, and the omnibuses have a lot of issues and runs. And it's definitely a collector's item because it collects a lot of issues and sometimes complete storylines. So I don't know about the other countries, but I've been noticing in Egypt, at least, there has been a number of cases where sellers would sell photocopied comic books as originals. Now, I have fallen into this trap. I have gone to many book fairs that sell these copies as if they're original, and they're usually for a very, very low price, like naively low. And I admit, I have made the mistake of like being so excited to find a comic book easily sold that I just bought a bunch of them and then got severely disappointed later. And to start off, these are the kinds that I'm talking about. They are usually very obscure. They only sell like one issue and they don't sell the subsequent issue or the previous one, and they're definitely very, very just not popular even issues. Now, some of these will fool you because if you can squint, this writing, this typing, and this quality of photocopying is very good. There's no blurriness, the colors are good, and it looks authentic. It looks like an actual comic book that you would buy. I kind of think this might be real, but I very highly doubt it because I bought it along with the other fakes. So I'm not sure why it would be there. Okay, so I think I might know why this might be real, because it does look real. It does look real, and the printing is pretty nice quality. Now, I think this has an actual bookstore trademark on it, like the publisher. There's information about the publisher, so I think this might be real, but we'll look into it. Now, for something like this, very obscure, the quality of the printing does not cut it. And if you open it up, you can see the edges are all black and the writing itself is blurry. The images do not look great. The colors are all wacky. And some of these bubbles are just completely hard to read. So yeah, we can see this is a fake one. The same with the Doctor Strange one. It's not even making an effort to prove that it's real. No, it doesn't even let you read it. Now, the Iron Man one is similar to the Thor one a little bit because it has the same publisher information. And I think if you open it up, I mean, we will see that it looks real. So these are the ones that I have doubts about. I have a lot of other single issues, like this one, X-Men Forever by Claremont. This is issue number 7. Someone was selling it on Facebook and I just got it because why not? It's Wolverine after all. It's The Fury of the Howling Commandos. It features Nick Fury, and it's legit. I haven't read it yet, but you can see it's real, and I'm definitely looking forward to reading it. The next 3 single issues that I own were gifted to me by my amazing friend from across the world, so thank you for that. We have 2 Ms. Marvel issues. We have 1 and 2, so we follow along the story well. They're both written by Wilson, and they feature the story of Kamala's origin story, basically. And I'm excited to read what happens next. I have read these 2, and I love Ms. Marvel so much. I can see myself on her. It's great representation. and I think anyone could pick this up if they wanted to, because it does start out at the very, very beginning. And the last single issue that I have is this Avengers one that I have not read yet. I don't know why I haven't read all of these. It was written by Jason Aaron. I don't know what it features, but it has Captain Marvel on the cover. It has nice looking Thor there. Different too. It has Captain America as She-Hulk and Black Panther and Iron Man. So we're very excited to read that. Ooh, there's Wolverine. Well, I guess we're reading that now. We'll finish the Marvel ones. We're moving on to the trade paperbacks now. Next up, I have this Hawkeye versus Deadpool. It was so good. I enjoyed it. Deadpool and Hawkeye are absolutely two of my favorite characters. Hawkeye is hands down one of my favorite Avengers, and Deadpool just makes everything better. And this features Kate Bishop too, obviously, and the art is great. The story is great. A lot of the time we depend on Kate to save the day. It's just a really fun read. You can pick this up and read it and still get what's going on. If you have the most basic understanding of who Deadpool is, you don't even, I mean, I know Hawkeye is pretty obscure for comic book characters, but if you know who Deadpool is, then you're sold. This is just, you can pick this up and you will understand. It's filled with shenanigans and cool stories and adventures. Next up on our list is the Secret Avengers story featuring Nick Fury, Natasha, Hawkeye, and Phil Coulson, right? Have not read this yet, but I picked this up at the book fair, and funny story. So, like we have established, right? Comic books are pretty expensive. The seller of this did not know how valuable this was, and he was selling it for only 35 Egyptian pounds. That's nothing compared to the prices I have paid for all of the comic books that I own. 35 pounds is absolutely nothing. And I didn't correct him because he had priced it. I mean, I don't feel bad because he had priced it and I did not correct him. But this is an original copy. This is an original book. And I got it for such a cheap price. Moving on. Now onto my Marvel. No, onto my X-Men comic books. The first one is Magneto Shadow Games. I feel so bad. I have not read most of these. And I feel so bad. But I will get to it, I swear. The thing is though, I have not read this yet because it's actually number 3 of the run. This has, I think, like 4 or 5 volumes, and this is only volume 3, and I haven't been able to get a hold of the other 1 and 2 volumes. So I can't read this until I get the first and second volumes, which just sucks, and I want to get into the story. Like, this is the very first volume, Infamous, and it's actually like one of the least popular Magneto volumes or stories, and for that I am suffering because I cannot find them anywhere, even though I look online and I look places, I look abroad, cannot find it. I have volume 1 of this new X-Men run, New Mutants. I'm pretty proud of that one because I did not expect to find it because it is so new. It has only been released last year or something. But this is volume 1, collecting New Mutants 1 and 2 and 5 and 7. But this is the new Hickman run, which is pretty popular in the X-Men world. The art is great, and I am very excited to read about these new characters. I've never read New Mutants before. Like, I have never read the characters that are featured here. Next up is the X-Men Days of Future Past, my pride and joy. I have read this one, thank God, finally having read something that I'm talking about. This is by Claremont. For those who do not know, Claremont is one of these big disciples in the X-Men writer world. He is the OG writer, so he is pretty popular. Talks about Days of Future Past, about the whole plot to go into the future to save the mutant kind, go into the future to save mutant kind. It's just very emotional. It's very sad to see how the mutants fare, you know, without Charles. But it does feature Kitty Pryde, who I just love her character. I adore her. And this is also a standalone, and it features it is pretty old school, this vintage look to the comic books that we don't see nowadays. So if you can pick this up and read it on its own, you won't be confused because it kind of explains a lot and you don't need any background to be able to understand that. I still have one more X-Men title, but I'm saving it for last because this is my absolute absolute most valuable possession. But for now, this is it for the comic book / Marvel collectibles that I own. We're now moving on to graphic novel territory. So first up, by Brian Vaughan, we have Paper Girls Volume 1. I absolutely love this thing. The color palette, immaculate. This is only volume 1 of like 5 or 6 volumes that I'm hoping to collect, but this takes place in the 80s. It is Stranger Things meets sci-fi. I mean, Stranger Things was kind of sci-fi, but like amazing. The vibes, we love that. Just look at that. That purple sold me on it. I love the writing. I mean, I have to say it is pretty obscure on its own. Like I do not understand most of what happens here, but I'm hoping to understand once I read all the volumes, and I'm definitely going to pick up the other volumes to read. But this is a great place to start if you have never read any graphic novels before. If you're a beginner who feels too intimidated by all of the titles out there, this is a great place to start. And you know what else is a great place to start? Saga. Saga is your go-to when you do not know how to get into graphic novels or comic books. This story is amazing, and I'm only on volume 3. It is sci-fi, in case you did not know, and it features a pair of star-crossed lovers who have a baby that they're not supposed to have, and they're being chased all over the galaxy for it. I love the ensemble of characters. I love the time and effort spent into the art. I only have the 3 volumes, but I will definitely be reading the rest later. Funny thing though, like the Magneto issue, I cannot find part 4 anywhere. I can find 5 from 5 through 9, but 4, just what I need to complete the story, cannot find it anywhere. But yeah, Saga by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples is amazing. Definitely pick it up. Now, moving on to something I recently picked up that I just adore, and that is the Tea Dragon Society and the Tea Dragon Festival by Katie O'Neill. Look at these, they're adorable. Everything about this is so cute. Look at the artwork. Look at the actual story, the concept. Like, every tea has its own dragon. Like, there's a glossary at the end that features all the different dragons. It's like a Pokemon thingy where you can collect them. You cannot collect them, but there is a playing card game that I'm dying to get. But look at that. It's got the Earl Grey Tea Dragon. It's got the Peppermint Tea Dragon. This is the first installment in the series. And the Tea Dragon Festival is the second one. And there's a third one coming out this year, I think, that I'm dying to pick up. I have not read these yet, but only for the fact that I don't want them to be over. I want to take my time. They're absolutely inspiring, and I know I can just pick them up whenever I want some inspiration for making art or just making anything cute, or to de-stress and relax and have some me time and read a cozy little amazing cute book. And now for my absolute most valuable possession. It's definitely the most expensive one. I have shed tears, not of regret, but of happiness when I got that. It's this beauty right here. I love it. I will cherish it forever. This is the House of X Powers of 10 by Jonathan Hickman. It is the new stories featuring the X-Men, and it is currently being written. This is the oversized hardcover. It features 12 issues, 6 House of X issues, and then 6 Powers of 10, and a ton of exclusives and extras and variant covers and whatnot. This is a collector's item. It features a lot of the things that you can't normally get in trade paperbacks. And while this collects a complete story, it keeps branching out into different stories featuring different characters, because we have a lot of characters. And one of the branches of this magnificent run is the New Mutants, which I talked about earlier. So there have been a lot of branches and, you know, stories where we follow lots of characters, but this is one that I have. I hope to collect the others, read the others, obviously. This is another one that you can pick up if you have no idea who these X-Men are and just have the barest, faintest idea of who they are, right? You don't even know, you don't even need to know the actual characters' names. You just need to pick this up. I guarantee you, you will understand. You will have some knowledge midway. You have to finish it, because a lot of the questions are answered at the very end. And it leaves you craving more, and I am craving more. I know this is expensive. So I don't expect anyone to pick it up because I can be pretty impulsive and I can make pretty stupid decisions. But at least if you find it online, read it. There are a lot of sites that will let you read these for free. I know I shouldn't be saying that, but there are a lot of sites that can do that. Just, you know, go on Reddit. And last but not least, I'm not sure, I mean, I don't think it's a comic book, but I have this thing. It's called the Marvel Heroes Annual 2015 thing. It was gifted to me by my best friend. And way back when I started collecting, when I didn't know I was collecting, I think this is the very first Marvel book, like original Marvel book that I had. It's gorgeous. It's a hardcover, which I love. Like, I can see this being appreciated by a kid, but I love the art so much. I spent hours looking at the art alone because it's got, you know, it's got something very original about it. Wow, that was a lot of comic books. I'm honestly very proud of my collection and I cherish it very much. So I did say that I was going to recommend runs for beginners or people who want to get into graphic novels or comic books. I'm by no means an expert. If you want a starter's guide, you can probably find better YouTube videos to guide you, but this is just my personal take. As for the graphic novels, as I mentioned, Saga is the best place to start. If you want something light and fun and adventurous and with beautiful art, Saga is definitely for you. I would say pick up Paper Girls also because it's by the same author. The color palette is amazing. It's a work of art. Of course, the Tea Dragon Festival Society thing. Such a safe place to start, I would say, for a graphic novel beginner. As for the Marvel comic books, my recommendations are pretty specific to characters I like, but I would not have liked them if it were not for these comic book runs that I accidentally came across. The first one is, because I have it right here, is the House of X Powers of 10. Something less demanding though, or like less intimidating or daunting would be the My Life as a Weapon, Hawkeye run by Matt Fraction. And I unfortunately do not own this, but I think it was the very first like big thing that I read dedicated to a single character. And that comic book is the reason why Hawkeye is one of my absolute favorite characters. The way he's written, along with the amazing artwork by David Ayer, it's just amazing. It's a complete experience, I think, and it features a lot of characters like Kate Bishop. It brings Hawkeye closer to the reader, I feel, because he's portrayed as a very relatable, reluctant hero kind of thing, and all he cares about is coffee and his dog and pizza and his best friend. So it pays attention to Hawkeye's deafness. So there are these panels that have sign language. Now I feel like I have droned on forever. so this is all that I wanted to say regarding my comic book collection. I know that it is not the easiest hobby in the world, but it is so worth it in my opinion. These are my pride and joy. As for where to get the comic books in Egypt, so my top 2 places to get original comic books are Cherry Blossom Books and Virgin Megastore. It's, I think, where all of my comic books are from. I would also recommend meticulously searching through the book fairs because most often than not, the sellers will have what you need, but they won't be aware of it. And they won't be able to help you unless you do your own research. So search yourself and be patient because you will find something good. I hope this inspires you. And if you have somewhere you get your comic books here that I have not mentioned, I would be so glad to hear about it. With that said, I will see you very, very soon. Bye.